Hey collectors, welcome to Star Wars Collected. I'm Jonathan. If you're new to the channel, I hope you consider subscribing. If you've been here for a while, thanks so much guys. We're up to 900 subscribers on here. So cool, I love it. But today's topic, what we're gonna look at is Chewbacca. He's done. My budget Chewbacca build is finished. I'm gonna show you the last couple steps that I had to take to get him to a life-size display model. So here he is, the final product, my life-size budget build Chewbacca. Just to refresh you guys, in case you haven't watched the first ones, this is a Ruby's bodysuit. This is a bandolier from See Yoda Run. This is a yet to be finished, but just wanted to put it in here. Bowcaster that was 3D printed. This mask is going to be the hardest part to replicate, but I got an amazing deal from a user on the Wookie builder page on Facebook, and he hooked me up with this amazing mask here. And other than that, those are kind of the only pieces that you really have to kind of acquire from someone. Underneath this is a PVC skeleton, and then packaging materials sort of fill them out a little bit. And there's also a sort of duct tape mannequin approach as well in there. So be sure you check out part 1 and part 2 of this build to kind of see how it all came together. But he's finished at this point. So some things that I've added since the last version. We have some eyes up here. These are doll eyes. I got sort of the largest ones I could possibly find. They're in this icy blue. I had a hell of a time figuring out how to kind of attach them, but I just sort of ended up gluing them. Unfortunately, I had to get like a little tiny bit of glue sort of like coming out on his eye a little bit. It's a little bit visible, but luckily he's like 7.5 feet tall, so most people are going to see him from down here, so no one's ever really going to notice. But just love the mask, love the face. You know, it's really kind of what made this work out and come together. The original Ruby's mask is just pure hot garbage, and it is just not a viable option. So if you decide to do this, maybe source the mask first and then see if you can pick up one of these suits on eBay secondhand. I picked mine up for I think like $150, something like that, maybe a little bit less. More recently, I've been seeing them listed closer to $300, which is about what they retail for. They actually retail, I think, a little bit more than that. But I definitely would not pay anywhere near that. If you see someone listening for that, I don't know if they have an offer type thing, lowball them on it, because it's definitely not worth that. So, eyes up there, those are glued in. And the hands were sort of a conundrum. So there's PVC pipe that comes out yay far. And then I'll show you guys some close-ups of this here, but then basically the PVC pipe is sort of L-cut, and I took those like artist hands. You'll sometimes see them at IKEA, so I use those ultimately. And you know, they're not super inexpensive, but I did manage to find a set on Amazon for about $25 that gave you both a right and a left, and also in the largest scale you could find, which is about, they call it 12 inches, and I'm guessing that's from probably fingertip to base. There's a lot of them out there that are you know, 10 inches or 7 inches, something like that. I think they're meant more for like a woman's hand or a child's hand or something like that. So I got the largest ones I possibly could. Even then, that's still maybe an inch or 2 shorter than it needs to be. But these gloves, which are again not amazing from Ruby's, seem to look kind of plump still. If they were not being plump, what I would have done is probably put a screw in the end of each one of those fingertips, maybe wrapped a little bit more packaging material, duct tape or something like that around there, just to extend that out a little bit. The reason I did that though, and what I really like about it, is that it does give me some posability. So I can sort of have him, you know, grip the blaster down here and cradle it over here and move those fingertips around. So it gave me that option. Beyond that, the only things that I've really done since we last touched this project was I did go in a couple select places, glued some of the pipes together. And then in other places where I thought I might want to be able to remove it instead of having it permanently glued, was I went ahead and just drilled a hole all the way through both the pipe and the connector, and put a carriage bolt through with a bolt on the other side, or with a nut on the other side. So that way, if I need some, you know, for example, the feet, being able to get the feet on and off, if I were to decide to take this suit off of this, that is such a 90-degree angle that it might make it hard to get the legs off of it. Same thing happened here around the arms. Since the one arm sits very close, but the other arm's out a little bit, I wanted to be able to remove that arm without it, you know, being glued. The reason I used either one of those things is because I did take this guy out for Halloween. I wore my Empire Strikes Back costume and had him out there, but oh my gosh, there were some times where I was so frustrated because he would bend at the waist, and he was very hard to like push up, and his legs operate independently, of course. So there were times where he was just bent over in our yard, and I was trying to like prop him up and pull him forward, and a lot of crotch grabbing. So it was kind of graphic for Halloween, but eventually got him up, and he stood up the whole time, and he was fantastic. So overall, I did not keep my receipts, but I was thinking about it in my head here, and I think total investment here, my guess is it's less than $400. The suit I got very inexpensive. The bandolier, I don't remember the exact cost on that, but whatever it was worth it. I feel like the bandolier, especially compared to what Ruby's came with, the bandolier here really kind of helps add authenticity and adds, it just looks more legit. The one, again, that comes with the Rubies, throw it away. It is a thing of nightmares. But this, I think, really elevates it. I got the deal of the century on this mask. Tammy Mars from Sweden, that guy is just the man, hooking me up with that. And if you have a 3D printer, this is basically, very inexpensive to print. I did not print this though. This was something I bought before I had a 3D printer. It is not good in any way. It desperately needs to be finished. But even then, it's not going to be great. So I think it'll be fine for him to hold as a prop. It's not what I would put on the wall and be like, hey, everybody, look at this bowcaster. But for him to hold on to it, it's that. And the PVC pipe, the packaging material was free. The PVC pipe, I had to go to Lowe's and pick that up. But I'm guessing overall about $400 into him. And I feel like that was totally worth it. I have a couple life-size figures as I look around the room here. Got Poe and Kylo Ren and Vader and a Stormtrooper. And most of those, cost, maybe for me, they actually maybe cost around that price point or even less. But most of the time, if you're building a full-size figure, it's going to cost you $1,000, $2,000, something like that. If you're doing Boba Fett, it's going to be like $3,000 a lot of times. So I feel like for having a 7.5 foot display piece of Chewbacca, who I love and I think everybody loves, in my collection for that amount of investment was more than worth it. There you have it, collectors. That's sort of the wrap up here on my budget life-size Chewbacca build. If you have any questions, if you decide that you want to do your own or something like that, please throw them down in the comments. I will be happy to answer or brainstorm with you as much as I possibly can. There's also a fantastic Facebook group, Wookie Builders. So if you're interested in doing something like that, definitely check them out. That is a super helpful community. Those people sort of instill the feeling you get from Chewbacca with just being a gentle and accepting type of person, but very defensive, defend the Wookiees. So great group of helpful people on there who are obviously very dedicated to bringing this beloved character to life. So super happy to have him. I think he looks pretty good for the investment cost there. And I plan to move some of my collection around here in the weeks to come, and we're probably going to squeeze Han Solo next to him, so they'll be best buddies for life. So speaking of being best buddies, if you enjoyed this video, please give me a like, and if you like videos like this, please subscribe because we have new content here all the time. Also, our Instagram is always a fun place to check out. I'm always posting memes and questions and things like that on there. So thanks for joining us, and we'll see you later.